final boss in Grandia 2 is all that hard. The final boss isn't even the boss I'm talking about that's hard. It's like the penultimate boss? It's one of the last bosses. It's not the last boss, though. It's technically not the penultimate boss, because minor spoilers for Grandia 2, but not really. In Grandia 2, you have the one boss I'm talking about. It's kind of like one of the last few bosses in the game. But then you also have like a boss rush afterwards, which is what you're talking about. After that boss I'm talking about, you have a boss rush. And then after that boss rush, you have the final boss. Which I think the final boss is actually not that hard. On hard mode, it might not be super easy, but it's also like not as hard as the boss I'm talking about. Oh. I think Snowball Fight will actually do something. Probably not.
Good luck, everyone! Go! Dragon Rise!
Not supposed to be hard in Grandia 2 because of storytelling, but they made them pretty strong compared to what they should be. I mean, like, they made them harder, but that's because you're choosing hard mode. So, I mean, you should, if you're choosing hard mode, you should expect a challenge. So, of course, he's going to be harder. He's probably not as hard as, like, you know, the penultimate, I'm just going to call it the penultimate boss. He's not as hard as the penultimate boss. The penultimate boss is probably the hardest boss in all of Grandia 2. But, I mean, obviously the last boss is harder. I don't think it's, like, as hard as the other bosses, though. But, I mean, when you play hard mode, you're choosing for a higher difficulty. And plus, it's an option. You don't have to play hard mode. I've gone on record to say, like, I think Grandia 2's difficulty is fine. I don't think... People complain that the game is too easy, and I disagree. He says having picked hard mode, but I'm choosing hard mode for the extra challenge. I guess I'm choosing hard mode because I'm playing Redux, and I feel like I can handle it. But, Grandia 2 on normal mode is fine. It's not, like, too easy. It's, like, not super difficult. It's a good difficulty. Oh my word, what the heck? This normal? Is this a Steam issue? It's kind of hurting my eyes. Garden of Dreams. What the heck? No, this might be normal, I don't remember. Maybe they made it, like, weird in the Steam version. Looks like we got ourselves pretty lost. The fog is so thick. Is this really the right road? Doesn't really matter. Wait a second. Aw, there's no smell of life in this place. Okay, yeah, that's normal. I remember that happening, but I didn't think it, like, from... At first glance, it was, like, hurting my eyes. Why do flowers bloom in such a cold and barren place? Who are you? This is my garden. Hi. Sorry, we're travelers lost on the road. This is the Garden of Happiness. My precious secret place. Everyone who comes here forgets their bad memories and gets happy. If you come here, it means that your heart wants to be saved. Look, aren't all the flowers so pretty? But... Your eyes, are they perhaps... Yes, my eyes were bad ever since I was born, but I'm fine now. Thanks to Grandis, I can see everything now, so I'm not lonely any longer. These flowers are nice enough, I guess, if you're into that stuff. Not my style. That's because you're not trying to see. You're trying to be someone you're not. Warm your heart like these ones. Miss, I thought you would understand how good this place is. What do you mean? You understand? Then you should ask the girl with the black wings. Black wings? Oh, I wonder. Anyway, keep this place a secret, promise? I make no promises to strangers. Miss, don't eat me. Freaky. What's with that girl? Oh well, let's go on. Nah, don't worry about it. Rito's just like, let's hit the road. I actually really like this little storyline. I really like the story structure of Grandia too as well. It's really nice. You may think like, oh, you're just going through town to town, subplot, which to a sense is true, but the subplots actually like culminate pretty well into the overall narrative. Huh? Now where are we? Hey, that little girl in her garden. Where'd they go? Could it have been a dream? I don't know, Rowan. I'm not sure. Fight these Bigfoots, because why not? Oh. I know you're made of... I know you're Bigfoots, but I'm still gonna use a snowball because I freaking want to. We can go with Howl Slash, or just regular Howl even. Not Howl Slash is better.
Expect an early winter with lots of snow.
Rowan, look around you. It's already winter. It's basically winter, my dude. It might as well already be winter. Oh, good 400. Good job. Ow. How dare you get the counter? Hey, I'm gonna counter your friend here. Bum, 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 bum. Nice. Throw an impact bomb.
Here goes my impact bomb.
Yeah, the subplots looking into the main big storyline. I feel like Grandia 1 and 2. We're mostly through Grandia 1, and we're like playing Grandia 2, so I feel like this is a good time to talk about it. Like, I feel like I'll probably spend a lot of this playthrough comparing the two games and talking about them side by side, because I adore both of them, and they're both in my top 3 games of all time. So, I really feel like this will be a good time to kind of... Playing them simultaneously, more or less, is a good way for me to really... talk about them a lot. Like, I've been straight up with me liking Rito as a protagonist more than Justin. That part I've always been straight about. I mean, there's so many other things where I'm just like, wow, like, it's kind of like an in-the-moment thing, you know? Like, I'm playing Grandia 1 and I'm like, wow, this game is my favorite. But then I'm playing Grandia 2 and I'm like, wow, Grandia 2 is really fun. And I'm just like, it could be my favorite too. But anyway, as I was gonna say, this subplot into the main storyline thing has me wanting to talk about this. Where I feel like Grandia 2 does a good job at the subplots, like, seem... To some people, they seem irrelevant, but they are very relevant to the overall storyline, and they culminate really well. And while Grandia 1, they could seem more irrelevant, like the stuff in Luck, or the stuff in, I need another village, Dite, or Gumbo. Like, Grandia 1, I feel like the subplots in Grandia 1 don't really culminate to the big storyline like Grandia 2, but Grandia 1 is a game about the journey anyway. And I feel like people lose sight of that, because Grandia 1, like, yeah, you could be like, hey, Grandia 1, these subplots feel so irrelevant, but they're not. They might feel irrelevant, but they're not, because they build up the relationship between Justin and Fina. And also, Grandia 1 started off with Justin just wanting to be an adventurer. So Grandia 1, like, the subplots aren't supposed to, like, be a big deal to the culmination of everything. It's just kind of an in-the-moment thing, you know? Like, oh, hey, it's about the journey, not the destination. which is what I feel like really resonates well with Grandia 1. While Grandia 2, the subplots actually culminate into the big storyline. Which, I mean, I think both games do it well. They complement each other really well. They both have their subplots, and Grandia 1s are more like, hey, it's kind of about valuing the time you have with the characters and building up the relationship with Justin and Fina and the journey, not the destination. Even though Alette is the destination, but you don't go there till late in the game. And Grandia 2, like, same messages. Like, yeah, you get the build up between Rito and Elena and the characters, yeah, sure. And also, the subplots culminate to the bigger twist in the story, which is what they went for, which is good. I think both games are fantastic, though. You cannot go wrong with either. I don't think either of them are better than the other. They're both very high tier. Two of the best RPGs to ever exist, like, straight up. I love the more serious tone of Grandia 2, and that's fine. Yeah, that's completely fine. Again, I'm not going to criticize anyone saying Grandia 1 or 2 are better, because I have a hard time choosing between the two. Whatever you're with you. We're not really through Grandia 2 this Redux yet, but playing Grandia 2, I expect to love it, like, a lot more than I did. I already love the game a lot, but I'm, like, really enjoying it. And, like I said, it's not really a matter of which one I love more. They're both very, very good. I feel like Grandia 2 is my favorite because of Ryudo. I feel like Ryudo as a protagonist, he's my favorite protagonist of all time. I feel like that's enough for me to confidently say that Grandia 2 might slightly have the edge. But again, both are really good. And it's not doing a disservice to Justin, because I do like Justin too, but Ryudo is hands down my favorite protagonist, or top 3 at the worst. Justin would probably be like a top 5 or top 10. Most likely. I don't know where Justin would rank as according to other protagonists. I don't think he would make he wouldn't make a top 3 list. I don't think he might make a top 5 list. But I'd imagine he'd at least make a top 10. At the very least.
Golden Hammer Crash!
I mean, the only way to find out is, you know, by finishing this playthrough and really seeing, but already replaying Grandia 2 is reinvigorating the love, and I'm being like, wow, Grandia 2 is just so good. It was already great when I played it many, many times.
Nothing withstands my blade.
But yeah. Whichever one I prefer. I wouldn't even prefer one or the other. Like, whichever one I like more, let's just say it like that. The other one is still very good, and it doesn't really, like, change my opinion of how I feel about the other one. My opinion is still that both of these games are in my top 3. It does not matter. And I can appreciate anyone saying, oh, Grandia 1 I like more, Grandia 2 I like more. I mean, it's really, you know, like Prunky said about liking the serious tone more, you like Grandia 2 more, easy. Which is understandable. I feel like the Grandia fandom, like, I mean, as long as people agree that 1 and 2 are really good or good games, and 3 and Extreme suck, like, who cares about the whole, like, hey, Grandia 1 and Grandia 2 are better for this reason. You could just be like, which one do you prefer, and call it a day. I do like discussing it though, it's really fun. I like discussing different opinions, and I even like disagreeing. Like, disagreeing and seeing other perspectives is really cool. So if someone's like, hey, this plotline felt weird to me, and I'm like, hey, why? I actually like hearing different opinions. People don't always have to agree. I do like hearing different perspectives. It's really cool. Even disagreeing, I think it makes the conversation more interesting at times. When you disagree, because either someone picks up on something you didn't, or they just give a different, like, perspective, and you're like, wow, I didn't think of it like that.
You better practice if you want to be
One of the many reasons I love streaming so much. Other than, like, you know, playing the games, I really like discussing things, whether it's in the comments section or my Twitch chat. Yeah, Rito's great. Rito is really good. There's so many reasons why I love Rito. It's not even his growth. His growth is, like, why I love him, yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of things I like about Rito. So many, which I'll be talking about as we play the game. I mean, his starting personality right now is a big reason for it. Like, he has the perfect amount of snark as well as, like, some comedic moments. Like, yeah, he's, I'll say it straight. He's an asshole right now for good reason. He is kind of like, Luke from Tales of the Abyss. But he also has just the amount of humor and pokes fun a bit and has the banter down rather than just being like, oh yeah, I'm always like a dick or whatever. And also his growth is a big reason I love him. There's a lot of reasons. There's so many. Oh, Mirumu Village. Time for, like, probably my favorite village music. Yeah, I think Mirumu Village has my favorite village music in this game. It's so good. Those one-liners he drops are gold? Yeah, they are. He has some of the best lines in the game, hands down. There's a certain sadness about this village. I wonder as to its source. Ah, the sisters arrived. I'm so glad now the village is saved. Chief, the sisters arrived. She's here. Are they speaking of me? Kind of a topsy-turvy, where Lilith did not want the help of Elena, and these guys want Elena's help? Interesting. Huh? What's going on here? So you finally come. Our village, please, I beg of you to save us. You've lost me, Chief. I don't think any of you put in weekend reservations here. Huh? Wait, so you haven't come to save the village? Our journey is to Grandia Cathedral. We're merely passing through, but... So you haven't come to save the village. I thought for sure they'd be here by now. What does this mean for us? Oh, we are going to meet another relevant character very soon. Good question. What's going on here? These things shouldn't be spoken of in this place. Please come to my house. What a haircut. You see, strange things have been happening here in this village. Villagers have been suddenly falling asleep. At first we thought it was just fatigue, but they keep sleeping, days and days at a time. And you do not believe that they are merely unwell. I wish it were so, but... They're not? To be blunt, I believe it is some kind of curse. A curse? What leads you to believe this? The dreams, ever since falling asleep, all the villagers keep having the same dream. A presence, watching, waiting its eyes, great and terrible, terrifying. Curse, right? We have no solid proof, yet we could not bear the dread of it. We sent to the cathedral for aid. So that's why you thought Sister Elena was here to save you? Yes, that's exactly so. Well, it's a damn shame, but like we said, we're just passing through. But, may I ask you one thing? What is it? Will you please stay here just for one day? The priestess for the cathedral should be here soon. I don't expect you to take her place, but if your sister stays here, the curse may be somewhat allayed. Another one fell asleep today. We're all uneasy. Rito. Well, it is dark out. We shall do as you ask. It's not much, but we would be happy to stay in the village. Oh yeah, Elena saying, now you mock me, and Rito being like, yeah, I've been mocking you the whole time. I remember that. I think I pointed that out while that line was happening. I was like, yeah, that's so... I got a chuckle out of it. They're just staying asleep. Nicholas was the first one to collapse. He's been sleeping for 5 days. I don't think they have caught any sort of disease here, although everyone here assumes it's a curse. Either way, it's more than we can handle on our own. The priestess better get here quickly. Sister, to get to the inn, head toward the village gate. It'll be on your left. Thank you, you're most kind. Not at all. In fact, I should be thanking you. We've been asking so much of you. We used to live in peace despite the poor soil. We lived without trouble. Why? Why have we been made to suffer like this? The question you ask cannot be answered by us. You must seek the answer among us, around you, and from within yourself. First it was our son Nicholas, then who was it that collapsed next? I can't even remember.